What are the chances that both a film and its remake shift the parameters of their respective genres and help redefine action hero star personas for decades to come? Well, when you have two restlessly inventive filmmakers, Akira Kurosawa and Sergio Leone, brilliantly deploying two of cinema's most iconic actors, Toshirô Mifune and Clint Eastwood, you definitely cut down your odds. Kurosawa's filmography was diverse, but what made his international reputation in the 1950s were his jidaigeki, or period dramas. Descended from samurai clan himself, Kurosawa repeatedly grappled with the noble Bushido, way of the warrior code on screen. Yet his bold kinetic work, loaded with overt emotion and action, adapting foreign texts from Dostoevsky to Shakespeare, marked him out for some as the quote-unquote most Western of Japanese directors, certainly in comparison to his contemporaries Kenji Mizoguchi or Yasujiro Ozu. This was confirmed when his 1954 masterpiece Seven Samurai was readily transplanted to Hollywood as hit star-making western The Magnificent Seven. In Yojimbo, Kurosawa upended samurai tradition and decorum, and the popular, highly conservative Chambara adventure films that championed these role model fighters and the feudal systems they upheld. From the outset, Toshirô Mifune's masterless roaming Ronin is marked out as a scruffy, cynical, violent mercenary, happy to play two corrupt gangs off against each other. He's enigmatic, laconic, unflappable, doesn't play well with others when pushed. Remind you of anyone? In 1963, Sergio Leone saw Yojimbo in Rome and was fascinated. He quickly figured out a way to turn it into a western. Similarly, flipping traditional ideals of honorable lone gunmen who ride into town to right wrongs.
What have you heard? I've heard that you're a low-down Yankee liar.
Of course, more subversive westerns and more ambiguous heroes did already exist.
Stand aside, Martin.
But Leone's stroke of genius was to dirty down a clean-cut TV cowboy beyond all recognition.
Better check our back trail, Rowdy. All right?
You're only beginning to get nervous.
Rawhide's Rowdy Yates.
You want to wrestle? We still got 2 falls to go.
Is a long way from Fistful of Dollars' Joe. I say Joe, but Eastwood's poncho-clad, cheroot-smoking badass is better known as the man with no name. Despite the fact that in Fistful and its sequels, For a Few Dollars More and The Good, the Bad and the Ugly, he has a different moniker per film. Mifune's swordsman is another enigma. Who, in Yojimbo and its sequel, Sanjuro, seemingly takes his name from his surroundings. After all, enigmas make for better archetypes. In many ways, he's very different to Eastwood's gunman. Mifune is one of the all-time great physical actors, and his repeated scratching, shrugging, and shifting contrasts nicely with Eastwood's stillness, steadiness. What they share is an iconic persona, ice-cool men of action, ruthless when necessary, because they operate in venal societies where honor is a weakness. They have just enough redeeming qualities to keep you on side, most notably here saving innocent families caught up in the gang's crossfire. They don't say much.
Get 3 coffins ready.
But their few words are spiked with a dark gallows humor.
My mistake. 4 coffins.
Scenes like these make Yojimbo's influence on Leone undeniable. Kurosawa reportedly sent him a note saying, "It is a very fine film, but it is my film." he successfully sued for copyright infringement, though Leone claimed his film was more derived from Carlo Goldone's 18th century Italian play Servant of Two Masters. But then Kurosawa himself was open about his own influences in the hard-boiled American crime fiction of Dashiell Hammett, notably Red Harvest. Either way, Yojimbo and A Fistful of Dollars are much more about cinematic style and storyline. And on that level, both set trends rather than imitate them. Kurosawa's approach feels consistent with his habitual, fluid, tactile images and sound, layering characters within the frame to emphasize role and relative importance, and marshalling the elements to increase his story's power on screen. He'd only recently switched to the widescreen Toho-scope aspect ratio, filling his broader canvas with elegance. For a period film, Yojimbo is bracingly modern. There's a rebel spirit here, Kurosawa in blackly comedic mode, dissecting human greed and vanity, even deconstructing the genre itself. Composer Masaru Soto's score is both playful and rousing when necessary, blending Japanese and Western instruments. And Toshirô Mifune is, as ever, timelessly, endlessly watchable. Despite Kurosawa's charges, Sergio Leone was equally innovative. Legend has it that the cheap Technicolor knockoff film stock Techniscope actually was better at either wide vistas or extreme close-ups. US critic Richard Jameson has described Leone's films as operas in which the arias are not sung but stared, and that all starts here. Whether by necessity or design, it became a standout trademark, as did Ennio Morricone's pioneering score. The combination of Spanish guitar, whistling, chanting, even gunshots and whip cracks, when combined with the film's pop art rotoscope title sequence, were like nothing ever seen or heard before. Fistful and its sequels didn't just make Clint Eastwood a star. You could argue that his entire screen persona stems from Leone's spaghetti westerns.
What did you say your name was again?
Becoming something he replicated and refined for decades.
You a bounty hunter?
Man's got to do something for a living these days.
Go ahead. Make my day. Dying ain't much of a living, boy. Get off my lawn.
Yojimbo remained the single biggest hit of Akira Kurosawa's career. A Fistful of Dollars and Leone's subsequent sequels made his reputation. After them, the samurai film and the western would never be the same. Whether intended or not, the nihilism and more graphic violence present contributed to more brutal, disillusioned takes within their respective genres. Kurosawa's influence on Hollywood, particularly the movie brat generation, continued to flourish. Leone's too. Further Yojimbo Fistful remakes, genre cross-pollinations, or variations on the theme sporadically appeared. Yet for influence, ambition, and endurance, there are really only two last men standing, nearly impossible to separate. So, choose your fighter. You really can't lose.
あばよ